Hey, good morning. Happy Sunday. How you doing today, Zeke?
What's going on, brother? I'm good, man. I'm blessed. I can't complain.
Nice, man. Love the energy this morning. Love the energy, man. So we back. We back with I like to say, hometown favorite.
Hmm.
Um, One of my
I don't know about
guys.
that.
No, man, no. So a couple people reached out to me and said, you got to get Zeke on there. You got to interview Zeke. Definitely got to interview Zeke. Someone sent me your contact information via email. We connected. Here we are today. Um, Well, just go ahead and, I'm doing a lot of talking. Go ahead and introduce yourself, a little bit about what you have going on, and then we'll dive into what your definition of success is, and then we'll go into what your 10 rules of success is, and then we'll go from there.
All right, cool. All right, so I'm Isaiah Anderson, last child of three, born and raised in Youngstown, Ohio,
Hmm.
south side of Youngstown, Ohio. Actually, the earlier part, I don't even know if a lot of people know, but like the earlier part, first 2 years of my life, we lived on the north side. So,
Mm.
so I started over there, then moved to the south side, and that's where I was, groomed and, went to elementary school, junior high school, middle school, high school, and then obviously the YSU on my hat. So I went to college there
No
as
doubt.
well. After graduating, I moved down to Charlotte, North Carolina, where I've been now for 18, 2000. I moved down in 2008. So I've been down here for 12 years now. I work for Wells Fargo.
Uh-huh.
Been working for Wells Fargo now for 8 years. When I first came down, I had a couple contract jobs, just kind of getting my feet wet, getting my experience up. And now
Okay.
I've been with the bank and banking for 8 years now. So I work in corporate risk, started off in technology and securities. Now I've migrated over to the business side, what I really, enjoy doing, but kind of still in the same realm, but just from a different perspective. So instead of working on the technology side and securities, which is like trading,
Hmm.
I'm working on the corporate risk side and market and counterparty
Nice.
risk, which is still dealing with securities, but more from a risk perspective, um, trying to mitigate risk as far as what the bank is taking on when they're doing trading with clients or in-house
Okay.
trades.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Let me ask you this before you dive into your definition of what success is.
Mhm.
Um, One thing that you said that stood out is you said you graduated from college, and not only when you graduated from college, you say, you know what, I'm gonna move to a whole new area and start a life there. What prompted that, or what mindset or experience did you have in Youngstown which said, I got to go to a new area in order to, reach my peak potential?
Yeah. So man, that's I can tackle this from a lot of different places. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna start here. So my first year at YSU, man, I was like, oh, this is easy. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna do well in Excel. I don't really have to study. College is gonna be easy. So the first semester, I'm good. Second
Okay.
semester, I start hanging around the student union, playing Madden, all that good stuff. Not really
Hmm.
studying, skipping class, obviously. And then next
Hmm.
thing you know, 2 semesters later, I'm on academic probation. So I'm like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? And I had like
Hmm.
a partial scholarship. I was getting money from the Buckeye X. So they're like, yo, if you don't, get your grades up, you're gonna lose the scholarship. So like I said, my studying habits and everything, it wasn't that I wasn't intelligent, it was just that I was lazy. So
Okay.
I have people around me, and one guy in particular, he just always had these like his thought patterns were crazy, and I'm like, yo, where are you like getting this stuff from? Because
Hmm.
we all from the same place, and I never really heard anybody talk or think like this. So he gave
Hmm.
me a book, and it was called Real Estate Riches, because at the time he was buying
Hmm.
properties, he was investing. So I'm like, nobody around me. Youngstown is a very blue collar town, so everybody's just working. So I'm seeing my parents work 1 or 2 jobs, doing what they have to do, to keep everything going. So when
Yep.
that kind of opened my mind, so I'm like, okay, so if I start reading these books, then I'm gonna start
Hmm.
acquiring knowledge. So I got through that book. It was hard because I just wasn't
Hmm.
disciplined and used to just, studying and reading. So I started, studying books, picking up more and more books. So then my thoughts started to change. So
Hmm.
now I'm really looking around me, and I'm like, okay, I got friends that's, going to college. I got friends that's not going to college. I got friends that's just working.
Hmm.
And I kind of started looking at it and being like, what do I want for myself? Like, what do I see myself, after graduation? Am I going to stay here? Am I not? And I hadn't figured it out yet. So my sister had moved down to Charlotte in 2004, I believe. So she moved down here. So it was like spring break 2006. And me and Deontay, we actually came down here. We checked it out. And like I said, I just kind of loved it. It was just something different. It was something, in the air. Just kind of, man, it smelled like hope. Like, what? It's a whole nother life out there. It's something out there that's greater than what I'm from. I haven't really seen all that life has to offer. So from that point on, I came down two more times, and I just knew, like upon graduation, like I'm out. So it was kind of bittersweet because it's like the whole time, I'm back on track with my academics and stuff like that, just working on self-improvement. But I'm like watching the people around me who haven't had a chance to like explore or leave. And it was just like, yeah, man, like I got it. Like these my homeboys, these my homies. And I'm telling them like, yo, what are you thinking about? What are you trying to do? After, graduation or just in general. And everybody just kind of looking at me like, yo, you bugging. Cause, everybody just out, still kind of, how like when you first graduate high school, everybody's kind of still living that life. Like I'm gonna just party forever. I'm gonna just chase tails. So it's like my mindset was a little different. I was a little bit more focused. So, I'm thinking about those things and like I'm still hanging with them, but it's just like in the back of my mind, I know like I'm out. So as soon as I graduated, man, I graduated that Saturday, had a little party. Sunday, my stuff was packed, and I was on the way to Charlotte, man, and that that was like the start of it all. But
I remember, I remember very vaguely two experiences that I had with you, outside of Youngstown. One, you visited Central State, and when you visit Central State, the conversation was just different from people from Youngstown. I was like, man, this dude different, mind you. I'm pretty sure it was different because one, I'm from the east side and you from the south side. We just have a different dialect or different the way we speak or talk to each other. And then the second experience I had with you was when you visit, when we was in California, San Bernardino specifically, and we were sitting down chatting different things of that nature. And I could just tell your mindset was that it was totally different from people our age, from the time someone started college to the time someone actually finished college and seeing where they actually wanted to go as they started to define those short-term, intermediate, and long-term goals. Like you always was destined for greatness, to be honest.
I appreciate that.
Well, it's come on, man. Everybody know you're too humble, man. So before we dive into your definition of success, early on, it sounds like your goals and different things of that nature was shaped on the books that you read and your initial experience with. Was it a family member or was it a teacher? Who was that individual that changed that mindset early on?
Yeah, it's my homeboy, man. His name is Dan. They used to call him Dan the Man, but he was the one, man. And I don't even know how we got so cool. I guess he just kind of took a liking to me. And his real name is Daniel Butler. I ain't trying to give out his government and all that, but
you don't want to name drop, but I see what you're saying there. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying. We just got cool. I don't even know. It was kind of like he just took me under his wing. And like I said, you talk about me, like as far as like I felt like in looking back, I had potential, but I never really had a mentor. So I guess you could say he was the first person that was my mentor in a sense, without like he wasn't even trying to be it, but just kind of watching how he was moving and how his life was shaped and how he was doing things. And like I said, at such a young age, he was probably, I started school, I'm 18, so he's probably like 21. You know what I'm saying? And he's in school. So, every day, if we might have a break and he like, yo, look, I'm here, like meet me here. I'm about to get some lunch, or I'm about to get some breakfast. So this dude whipping out the paper. So I'm like, bro, like we 21, like who's, I'm 18, he like 21. I'm like, yo, who's reading the newspaper? And he's just staying abreast on what's going on. He looking at he looking at the stock market. He's talking about different things. And I'm like, yo, I didn't really understand economics. I didn't really understand how this world works. So it's like, even to this day, like now it's different because it's like, all right, you need to know, and I know you know this, you need to know what's going on in the world to understand what your moves are going to be. So he might have been looking at interest rates, that's going to affect the housing market because like I said, at the time, he's doing Section 8. He's doing stuff that, he's buying homes. he's talking to me about equity, where you can pull equity out of your house, and this is how I got my second house. Started with my first one, and I pulled equity out of that when I bought another one, and then I got a tenant in here, so da 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 da. So I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this
I
dude.
definitely want to.
Yeah, I mean, where we from, man. Most people renting, like nobody's really owning home. So,
Exactly.
like I said, just kind of seeing him and just seeing his thought patterns and the way that he was thinking, man, it really just inspired me. And I was like, wow, like, because I think that was the thing about me. Like, I always kind of looked up to or had conversations with people that were older than me. So if I saw somebody doing something, I'm like, yo, how are you doing that? Like, how do I get there? How do I get to that point? Because for us, a lot of times, and just like kids, in the inner city who haven't really been exposed, or people who haven't been exposed, I ain't even gonna say inner city, because you could be rural in the country, so who've never been exposed to something. Seeing is believing. So when you see somebody do something and you feel like you can touch, like you can reach out and touch that person, you like, wow, like I can get this for myself. I can do this. Like this is achievable. And it don't seem so far-fetched. Yeah, it don't seem like it's something only on TV that is make-believe. So it's like it's real. So when I saw him doing that, and then like I said, I started getting into books and reading, it just basically proved that, if you develop your mind and like change your actions and start really working towards those goals, those things that you want to do, like you can do anything you want to do.
Yeah, I definitely want to explore that more when we get to that financial literacy series.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I definitely want to explore that experience coupled with the name of that book again. I think it was called Real Estate Riches or something of that nature.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, so we'll revisit that here. Your definition of success as it relates to right now in life. What is your definition of success?
Man,
your viewpoint?
And man, like I said, I love to talk, so I can go kind of deep. I'm gonna go a little deep with it. So like, just to kind of like say, for me, life is just an evolutionary process. So it's like, even with success, like what's success to me now might not be success to me in 5 years if we having the same conversation. What's success to me in my 20s, versus me at 35 is different. So, but to answer your question right now, for me, success for me right now is just living a good life, being a provider, but also looking down the road, having tangible assets that I can pass down. I only got one kid right now. I got a 2-year-old. So being able to pass things down to him, you know what I'm saying? Like leave him a legacy basically. So when I'm gone, he's like, wow, like my dad really left me something. He gonna, something for him to cherish, for him to value. So for me, that's success, because I just kind of feel like, earlier on, I was just like, oh, it's material. Like I need this, I need that to show.
Absolutely.
To show what my success was. And it's like, after a while, I think it's kind of, I got into photography and I start making money for myself. Then I start kind of looking at things differently. Like, if you build something from the ground up yourself, like it's a feeling of accomplishment. It don't matter if it's, you only making $1,000 or if you're making $50,000 from it. Like it's still something that you did yourself and somebody's paying you for a service that you built yourself. So I start looking at it like, yeah, if I can, do it with photography, maybe I can do it in these other areas. And I start thinking long term, like if I can build these things up, and as my son is growing up, can kind of teach him how I did it, then when it's time for him, I can pass things down to him and he can take over from there, and he already got the knowledge of how to run these things and, how to keep it going. So, basically creating generational wealth, like building up your portfolio, building up assets that you can pass down. So for me, that's success. Success is
absolutely
getting out of the rat race and, really doing stuff for yourself, that you can like build things for yourself that you can pass down to the next generation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great definition of success, especially where we come from. Financial literacy is not taught in many households, and it's not common amongst, let's be honest, it's not common that you will have individuals who grow up understanding the importance of credit, ownership, legacy, all those things that you touched on. And I'm really interested to see your 10 rules and how it actually aligns to that success there. This is good stuff, man. This is good stuff. It sounds like before we dive into the 10 rules, it's going to be more centered around your legacy. How much value are you bringing to people? Not only how much value are you bringing to people, the infrastructure that you're building, those skill sets that's going to be required for your son to be able to run the company or firm when you long and gone, and how can he continue for the, you know, for your grandkids and great grandkids and different things of that nature. So this was good stuff. This is good stuff. If you don't mind jumping into your first rule there.
Yeah, so my first rule, man, and I started with, and I kind of expanded on it, but it's, you know, it's being true to yourself and finding your purpose, you know, with what you're trying to do. And like, I say that to say that, just from my experiences, you know, when you first getting out there, like you said, we coming from a particular environment. So, you know, 18 years of my life, you know, when I graduated, 22 years of my life is shaped to think a certain way. So it's like, I know who I am. I know who I am in Youngstown. I know how I operate. I know how things are there. But once you get outside of Youngstown, it's a bigger world. So, you know, I'm coming into a, you know, job situation, a workforce, and it's like, you know, I kind of have a street mentality mixed with, you know, education background, good education background. So it's like, okay, you know, I've accomplished college. I know I'm smart enough to make it through college, but these values and what I've seen still hold true. Life is real, like, you know, things that we had to go through and see. So when I'm in a job, I might kind of carry that into a job, but now I'm like, okay, I got to tone it down. So it's like I got to fit in. I got to kind of infiltrate, and you know, you're just trying to fit in. You're trying to be accepted. You know, everybody, you know, speak properly. These, you know, this, that, and the third, and it's like, not that anything is wrong with that, because you do need to be able to, you know, articulate. But as far as like putting, you know, that voice everybody make, putting on that voice and trying to be somebody that you're not, or trying to fit in, just like us, like trying to fit in, you lose who you are. So it's like at the end of the day, no matter what you're doing, you have to be who you are. You know, you have to be true to yourself, and what you're doing. Then the second piece is you have to find your purpose. Like to that, you got to find your purpose, because what you're doing right now, you know, it's not for everybody. Like your purpose is your purpose. Like, I can't look at you and say, you know what, my boy Reeston started a YouTube channel, so let me start a YouTube channel, because that might not be my personality, or that might not be my calling, you know, that God has for my life. So it's like you have to really find what you love. And like I said, even going back to like photography, man, like what people don't know is like they see me taking pictures now, and they're like, oh, you know, he takes really great pictures. He has an eye for it, which like I developed it, but I always had a passion for like photography and video cameras, because when I was younger, my grandmother, man, she had like all these albums of like photos. She was always snapping Polaroids from like the time we was born. So we got stuff from like, I mean, I got pictures from like 87, 88, you know, on through my life. Like my first football banquet, man, with, you know, my friends, like some that are no longer here. So it's like I just always looked at it like, if I have a camera, I'm gonna have a way to like you know, document my life. Capture that moment, document my life that I can look back on. So I still got pictures, you know, from like high school graduation, just different things. And it's like as I got older, I was like, all right, I want a digital camera, this, that, and the third. So when I started traveling, it was the same thing. So once I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy a real camera, like a professional grade camera. So I bought it, and like I said, I had already had, you know, 28 years, 29 years of just that philosophy of documenting things. So it kind of came naturally, and you know, I enjoyed doing it. So that was like my purpose, and then it was just like kind of like my purpose turned into a business, because people start seeing my talent, like, oh, you're good. How much do you charge? I'm like, charge? Like I didn't even know. You know, my mind conception, like when I got into it, I didn't get into it to make money. I got into it because I just wanted pictures for myself. But then once I started seeing the business potential in it, then that's when I kind of pursued it. Okay, let me sit down. Let me think about this from a business perspective. And then it kind of just organically, it took off. So
absolutely.
You got to find your purpose. And like I said, stay true to yourself, who you are. You know.
Let me ask you this. Absolutely. Let me ask you this, Zeke. As you found your purpose and you stayed true to yourself, how, as you matriculate through life, how important is it to protect your mind from individuals projecting their fears or projecting what you should be or what you should do? Like I said, growing up in a household, for me, we were taught to just one lifestyle. This is how you make it. I followed the traditional American route: go to school, get this, do this in this process, get a home, different things of that nature. But like you said, having an eye for photography, it started way back when grandmother was planting that seed. And not only did she plant that seed, it actually fell on fertile ground. And now you was able to cultivate that into a whole business. But I'm pretty sure you wasn't paying attention to that detail as you went through life, but how would you able to protect your mind or project, and when people project their fears on what you should do or where you shouldn't be, how did you keep that away? Because I know you have a lot of relationships with individuals back at home, and I know they have some influence on this, if that makes sense. We
Yeah, I
don't turn a
mean,
deaf ear to them. Go ahead though.
yeah, I mean, it's crazy because like that's kind of definitely one. Let me see what number. That's number 3. So we'll talk about that as far as like the influences and the people that are around you. But man, luckily, like I can say as well, like I mean, I guess I don't know if it's just my nature or it's probably my nature and just truly being blessed, man. But I've always had people around me, man, who believe in me. And I guess kind of like you were saying, I guess people just kind of saw something in me like, man, no matter what this guy tries to do, he's going to succeed at it. So I don't really get a lot of pushback because they know me too. Like I'm very, I'm gonna do my research. Like I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna look into things. I'm gonna make sure that whatever I'm investing my time in, that it's gonna, it's gonna be worth it. It's not gonna be a waste of time because I know like there's a sacrifice, when you chasing your dreams that you have to make, and
Absolutely.
that it has to be worth it. So I really didn't have anybody who was objecting to what I was doing, that I was trying to pursue entrepreneurship. It was like, yeah, go do it, man. And then once they start seeing the results, they like, yeah, man, like you really good at what you do.
Nice.
People became interested because they may have never, gone down that path to be an entrepreneur or just, pursuing like something like photography. So, but yeah, I never really had a lot of, not from people that were close. I never really had people like second guessing me or like doubting me or, trying to like basically create roadblocks. I think that part of it came from, like peers, like people out here who are trying to like compete, so that's a whole different conversation, but like people trying to compete with me that feel like, Isaiah got this market, like let me take some of his clients away or things like that. But that's just,
that's healthy. That's business. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's healthy. That's business, man.
Yeah.
That was a great comment, and I'm so looking forward to that third point.
Yeah.
Before we, go to that third point, number 2.
Number 2, man, define what success looks like for you, and that's kind of piggybacking off of finding your purpose. And even like what you asked me, before we got into it, we were talking about what success, and I was just like, it's gonna always change. To me, at least, it seems like it always changes. You got to kind of reevaluate the situation. But I always define what success looks like for me because I can't say, like somebody's goals might be different what they're trying to attain. Like I said, I'm to a point now where it's like I really want to have things for, my son, man. Like if I'm no longer here, like what did I do? What did I leave behind? I created somebody, but it's like, what did I do for him? How did I help him? How did I put him in a position to succeed in the future? So that's really important to me. So everything that I do, now, like when I'm defining what success is based around that solely. How am I going to leave a legacy for him? How am I going to start, this wealth building, generational pass down? So for me, that's what it's all about. Like when I define my goals, it's like, do they align with what my mission objective is, which is, like we said, to pass down generational wealth, to be able to hand off something to him so that when he has kids, when he has a family, he has those values and he has those assets in which he can use to benefit them.
Let me ask you this. Good stuff. Define success and what it means to you. Having a 12-year-old, having an 8-year-old in different states, in different situations, for you specifically, how are you able to know specifically which values, which norms and beliefs will be mission critical for your son? Because I'm pretty sure you have your own, your wife has some, you have others and individuals where he will have that exposure to, and he may pick up some skills or some habits, whatever it may be. Specifically, how are you able to say, what, within my skill set, I want him to have this value, this norm, and this belief?
Yeah, I mean, really, like skill sets, like as far as like, I think it's more of like the core values. And me and my wife, we have a really good relationship, and we come from different backgrounds. I come from a single family home. My mom, she got married when I was 11. But for half of my life, she was a single parent. We had a tight knit family. Whereas like my wife, she always had her mom and dad there, her whole life. So our concepts and beliefs and how we grew up. What, I kind of basically, me and my siblings, we had to grow up faster because my mom worked a lot. I'm the youngest of three. She's the youngest of three. But when you got mom and dad there, it's different than mom's at work. My sister in charge, you know what I'm saying? My brother's second in command. So, we kind of growing up fast. We were exposed to a lot. Whereas like I tell her about movies that I've seen and she's like, I don't even know what that was. I'm like, look, I was watching, Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood when I was like 7 years old. It really wasn't, there was a filter, but it wasn't no filter. It wasn't like, we were seeing this stuff out in the street. So we understood early on, like what life or death was about, how real things were. So I think like with my principles and like the things that, we're trying to teach our son is first and foremost, be a respectable man. Like when you walking around, and we learned that early, like just being respectful, like respect it for what it is. Like, okay, like in Youngstown, it's like, this is what I do. This is what you do. I don't really get down like that. But I respect what you do. I'm gonna stay over here. Like this is my lane. So, like stay in your lane, be true to yourself. Don't go around disrespecting people and understanding that, it's a consequence for every action. So, just like how you navigating through life. So we try to teach him that more. So like, consequences for your actions, self-check, do those type of things. As far as like the technical stuff, like we don't really, cause he's 2 years old. So he's still, he's still navigating his way. So I don't know what he's going to be into as far as, his technical skills and things like that. But just, being a good person, being a good human being, those are things you start now, being respectful, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Yes, sir, no, sir, all that. And even though, he had that terrible Tuesday, so he's saying no to everything, but we just redirect him and he knows he kept his own quick. So just teaching him to be a good human being, man. Just, be respectful, be mindful. And then like the other things, he'll learn in life about, like we were talking about, like finances, we'll develop those technical skills, those reasoning skills, things like that. But right now it's just, just being respectable and being accountable and knowing how to listen. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing too. Knowing how to listen, bro. Cause like, that's the thing that a lot of people don't know how to do. Like if you don't never learn how to listen to somebody and what somebody's saying, just taking it in, interpreting it, like you're gonna have a hard time in life. Cause a lot of people, like you could talk to them till you blue in the face and like, they just don't listen. They like, all right, cool. Reese or Isaiah told me this, but I'm gonna just go do what I want to do anyway. Not even thinking about like, why was Reese telling me this? Why was Isaiah telling me this? Are they trying to help me? Like, let me really think about what they're saying. So that's important as well. That's a skill, man. Listening is definitely a crucial skill.
And before you dive into that third one, there are two things. Listening is definitely a skill. And the second one that I struggled with growing up was saying no. That's a skill. Learning to say no. I actually wanted to be there for everybody, different ways. Going back to what you said, the reason why, or the rationale behind starting a YouTube channel is just a big part of me of just wanting to be there for people some way, some form, no matter if we get information out in this form or if we in person and we having a conversation and I'm articulating different things on, no, I don't want you to be this, but I see something in you and I think you can cultivate that. Going back to what you said, as your son began to experience different things, you guys going to pivot and have an adaptable plan, which builds on your values and your norms and your principles there. So great call out, man. I appreciate that. Good stuff there. Number three,
man, surround yourself with great people. So that's like the one thing that I've always done. Like I said, starting out when I was younger, I just always try to keep, great people around me, man, great people in my circle. Even to this day, like I'm still cool with, man, honestly, I still I don't really have no separate relationships. Like I ain't never really fell out with none of my friends, had arguments and things like that. But like the same people that I've pretty much been cool with since, elementary school, you know what I'm saying? My core guys, I'm still cool with them. Guys that, I developed relationships, with in junior high school and high school, like I'm still cool with, like, and like, even if we don't talk for a year or 6 months, like once we talk, it's just like catching up, like, hey man, how you doing?
Absolutely.
Thinking about you, want to check in on you. And they know it's real because they know who I am. So they know like, hey man, he reaching out. Ain't like, I'm just reaching out on some fake, like phony, just, just people like hitting you up and you can tell it's not real. Like they know it's genuine. So but I still got the same folks that I'm cool with. So those are my friends. And then when I moved down to Charlotte, I think what's helped me grow a lot, honestly, has been, like I said, being exposed to different people and being able to really tap into what they're doing. And then, like, obviously, because you got to have people around you who are willing to, like, share knowledge with you. Like I was telling you before, when we talking about the financial literacy piece last week, I just got good friends that are doing, everybody's kind of doing their own thing. They're doing different things. Like, I got friends who are into, like, investments as far as, like, the Bitcoin stock market. I got friends that's into, like, real estate. I got a lot of different friends who own their own business, like, as far as, like, landscaping, social media, marketing, XYZ. And I meet so many different people with photography, like, as far as my network. So it's like I have a lot of different people who, like, are around me who are great at what they do. Like, so it's great people. So it works twofold. It works because it's inspiring. Because, like I said before, we touched on it, like, that was what kind of led me out of Youngstown when I came down here and I saw different things. It inspired me, like, wow, there's more to this world than just, you know, the city that I'm from. It's a whole lot to explore. So, like, once I got out here and I started working, I'm like, wow, it's more to it than just working. Like, I can be an investor. I can own real estate. It's different avenues. Like, you don't really have to just put all your eggs in one basket. So having people that exposed me to things like that was great. So I just, I believe you definitely got to surround yourself with great people, because if everybody around me is just like me and we all doing the same thing, I'm never going to be inspired to grow. I need people who do different things. And that's kind of how, and then in turn, what it does is, if I'm really interested in it, I get involved, and then my circle is influenced by that. Like, wow, you're a member of this club, you're doing this. I didn't even know this was in Charlotte. Like, I'm like, yeah, let's go up there. Let's chill out. Let's, let me show you something different. Somebody put me on to. So it's like, yeah, I try to do those same things, man. So I just basically try to not necessarily take, but just learn from people, and then, adapt to it if I'm into it myself, and then expose other people as well. Cause that's the key. Like, exposure is key.
I like that. And before you dive into number 4, let me ask you this question. What criteria do you use to know, should I cultivate this relationship, or should I burn the bridge for this one? I don't want to say burn the bridge. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Should I cut ties with this one, or is it vice versa? Meaning vice versa. Okay, I need to make sure that I at least step into this person's life at this time. I think it'll be good time for me to share my insight, not necessarily coach or mentor them, but just share a little bit of insight. And if they want to change, then they come back to you, and then you actually cultivate that relationship. What criteria do you use to know, okay, do I inspire this person, or do I need to cultivate this, or do I need to vice versa? Do I need to go cryptocurrency? I know you're very good in that area. At what point did you say, you know what, I need to go find me a mentor or someone that's actually doing this, and continue to find my specific way in doing things?
So to answer the first question, like, as far as, like, people being around me and, like, do I want to, like, cultivate that relationship, is the first thing I assess, and I do a good job at, just looking at people's emotions, like how they respond. I look at, like, is that person genuine? Like, is that person being real? So that's, like, true to me. Like I was saying before, be, like, true to yourself. So if that person is not being, like, genuine, I could tell, like, this person pretty much is, like, writing me off, or they really don't want to deal with me. They really, people just very vague and, don't reply to you and things like that. So it's like, all right, cool. I know that's not going anywhere. Like, and it's not necessarily a negative thing. I used to think like it was a negative thing, but everybody's not like that. So that's how I look at that. Like, if it's a relationship that, it's one-sided, or that person isn't really, I don't feel like they're putting the same energy towards it that I am, then I kind of know, like, that's not where I need to be, because I don't want to be around disingenuous people. And it's kind of like the same thing in reverse. Like, if I'm trying to help you and I'm trying to give you something, and you just, like, writing me off, and you just, like, really ain't taking it, I'm like, okay. Sometimes people, I get it. Like, sometimes people are not interested in it. They're not interested in, like, bettering themselves. So it's like, not necessarily that, like, because it could be a family member. It's not like I can't detach myself away from my family.
Exactly.
Like, I just know, like, okay, this person is not really, that's not where they are in life, or they're just really not interested. So I have to leave it alone. Like, I might be excited about it because I know it could be a life changer, but they might not be ready for that information, or they might not be ready, to receive it. So I just kind of look at it like that. So really, it's just, that energy that those people are giving you, like, both ways. Like, is it genuine? Do they seem like it's, like they are receptive to it, or are they just kind of like real passive or don't really want
No,
to deal with it?
that's a great point. And the only reason why I asked that rebuttal, that question, is because what I sent to you, and it's not even just now. This is back in California when we crossed ties, or when we were back and you visit Central State, or no matter if you was having a birthday party in your backyard. But I picked up on you have a very high sense of social and emotional IQ. Like your IQ is definitely there when it comes to, like you said, communication and knowing yourself. I we'll dive into that later on. But your IQ when it comes to a social and emotional piece, a lot of people don't understand that and what it means to them and how they actually communicate with others. Like
Oh
you
yeah,
said, when you went away, you had to unlearn some habits when it came to, especially myself. If someone was giving me constructive criticism or something, I was like, man, who are you talking to?
yeah,
I didn't know or understand that that person was not coming from a being malicious or a bad intent. It was more so, let me coach you and let me help you identify, this matter and how you can improve in the future when you're having this type of this issue or
oh
problem. But
yeah.
great point, man. It's good stuff there, man. Number 4.
Never stop acquiring knowledge.
Mm.
So I think my dad's down here right now. We came up for my brother's birthday, and we were just talking this week, and I was just kind of, telling him, how I got to where I got to as far as, like I said, honestly, it all starts back to that. Like I said, reading that book. I read that book, and it sparked something in me. I'm like, man. So I read that book, and then I just started reading more books. I just kind of fell into this world of just absorbing as much knowledge as I can. And then I got hit to like audio books. So then I was able to consume information like even faster, like driving to work or during my work day. I'm able to, pop in the audio book and I'm just listening, I'm absorbing things. So I just never, and I think like it comes to as well from like, we got technical background. So it's like with applications, like you have to apply it in order to gain it. Like it's not something like you can just be like, yeah, I'm at the job and I'm just sitting here, not coding and I know how to code. Like no, because I even like my first coding class, man, I struggled with it because I didn't really understand how to apply it and I wasn't doing it. I was like, oh, I need help. Can somebody help me? Show me how to do this, instead of picking up a book and then just try and code different lines of codes out and seeing what the output was. So once I gathered that, then coding language became simple. It's like, okay, like these are the fundamentals, and then you just build upon that. So I just always, kept on adding to my skill set from a technical standpoint. So it's the same thing with like my mental standpoint, like just reading different books, whether it's like, investing, self-help, business. I read classics. I read Black literature. I would literally be like, what are the top 10 books, top 10 African-American books I need to read? So I would like, I read all of them, man. Up from Slavery by Booker T. Washington. I read The Miseducated Negro. I read, Invisible Man, Malcolm X biography, like really important books that also gave me a sense of like self, pride, and wealth. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause like that's one thing, like in our community, man, we don't, sometimes I think, we feel less than. So it's like, because like I said, we come from environments in which we don't really have role models. We don't have mentors. We don't have, enough. And there are some, but we don't have enough entrepreneurs and people who are doing things to inspire us. So it's like, I had to get it from a book. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like our history didn't start with slavery. We're more than just slave. Cause like a lot of people think, even Black, they think like, oh, okay, like Harriet Tubman, Denmark Vesey, like all Freddie Douglass, like that's our history. It's like, no, like you need to understand like where you come from. Even if you wasn't born there, like you need to understand your origins, your roots, our greatness. That's even for the world though. Like but the world don't even understand that. You got a lot of people, like I talk to different people of ethnicities, man, and they still don't even grasp that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like people from Africa, like they invented mathematics and different things, like, you know what I mean? But then again, like some people don't care because like in their cultures, they don't have to really deal with that oppressive mind state. Like they haven't, like socially, like it's like in us already from birth, you know what I'm saying? Then what we have to experience in life, like, it's already in us. Like, we're less than. So like acquiring knowledge helped me with all those different things, all those aspects of my life, like finances, being a leader, becoming more well-rounded. So like acquiring knowledge is very key to success because you got to be well-rounded to be successful. to be, yeah, it's hard to be just strong in one thing and want to be successful because you never know the different obstacles and challenges you're going to have on your path. So
that's a great call out, man. I'll say this and let you go to number 5 there, because that was a very thorough explanation of never stop learning and just being a life learner. It wasn't until I went to Chicago and was teaching computer science on the south side of Chicago to some students, and my director, I didn't know at the time, she was a multimillionaire. And not only that, when she used to come and coach me, she used to coach me from a standpoint where she would give me the truth and the absolute truth. So when she gave me the truth, it always relates to the classroom. But when she actually gave me the absolute truth, it changed my mind on, one, how to be a parent, how to be a better father, how to be a son to my mom. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but as I went through life, it was certain things where certain events that happened to me, I'll always be like, man, I ain't messing with that person, or I ain't doing this, but I need to make sure that I am there for them in some type of way. No matter if the energy, if they're giving off negative energy, where you know, like going back to what you said, you got to be able to protect your mind from people's fears and different things of that nature. So when she actually gave me the truth and the absolute truth, and I was able to differentiate the two, it's kind of like being in a court system. When they ask you, are you going to tell the truth or are you going to tell the absolute truth? That's exactly how it is. So I was able to take those principles or those rules and apply it to every area of my life, and able to improve myself to be a better father. Not only be a better father, when I went through my situation, now I'm in a better situation where I don't want to call it a better situation. Let's not say that. See, I'll just say when I went through that relationship, my last relationship, and what I took away from it wasn't so much failure, but I learned for myself, and those principles that she taught me put me in a better mindset of, one, what does a multimillionaire even look like? What avenues do I need to take? What books do I need to start reading? Not only what books do I need to start reading, what communities do I need to join, no matter if it's in my local community or if I'm reaching out to you and saying, hey, I want to get in crypto. You know what I mean? So you and my brother, y'all both do that. But it's like you said, you don't give advice on something that you don't understand. So for me, when people come to me and say, what do you think about crypto? That's not my avenue or my investment there. So never stop learning. I know that's something that I got to start doing, and being receptive to people actually helping me. I'm not stubborn, but I'm more so of, if you flick me off 1 or 2 times, I'm like, I got to find another way. So good call out. Good call out. Number 5.
Help those around you. Help those around you. So it kind of goes back to what the question we were talking about, as far as like people, you know, not being receptive to information that you're providing. I still feel like it's on us because, you know, like I said, we basically have, it's like our ancestors did for us, man, with the civil rights movement and different movements, man. They sacrificed a lot, you know, to push us forward. So I feel like as we become successful and we're acquiring this knowledge and we're doing all these great things, it's important to definitely help those people around you. And, you know, whether it's kids, you know, your kids, other people's kids, you know, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, it's always good to like share that knowledge. And that's like one thing that I've always, you know, try to do. Every time I've kind of felt like, okay, I got to the next level. Let me tell everybody about how I got to the next level and let them know they can do it too. But this is how you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I definitely feel like that's important, man. You have to be able to reach back and help other people, and not just, you know, saying just those around you, but just in general, like when you see an opportunity, somebody might really, you know, have that potential, but they just need, you know, just them words of encouragement or just that knowledge to push through. You gotta be willing to give it to them. You can't hold back. And I think that's a lot of times, like I've seen that too, where it's like, you know, in our community, sometimes you'll have people that are like, me, like I learned this, but this is for me. Like, I don't really want to show you how to do it because
crab in the barrel mindset.
Yeah, like if I do, then it's going to take away from me, where I just kind of feel like, man, there's enough money out here for everybody to do what they need, especially entrepreneurs. It's enough money out here for everybody to eat. Like, it's not going, it's, you know, 1,000 maybe photographers in Charlotte. Everybody can get some money. Everybody do something a little differently. So, and every client wants something a little differently. So somebody might want you based off of money, like how much you charge. You might charge the least, or somebody might want you based off your quality. Somebody might just like your personality, and they might be drawn to that. And they're like, I like this person. He seems like a nice person, him or her. So I want them to be my photographer. So yeah, but yeah,
That's a great call out. helping the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
So I pride myself in being available for previous students from, the University of Chicago Charter School and in the alumni, people who graduated. So when they reach out to me for certain things, I don't charge them. I don't charge them no consultant fee, anything of that nature, because I know those relationships in the future will mean more, and it will mean more to me in the future to see them ascend to a next level, transcend to a next level in general. But this goes back to that rebuttal I asked you. How was you able to know what relationships should you cultivate and which ones should you be like, they're wasting my time? So that's where I'm struggling with right now. So the people around me, when they're asking me for certain things, I'm like, okay, is this something that you want, or is this something that's a must? So that's how I make my criteria. Like, okay, you just want to do this. Like, if you just want to do it, you're going to give 20, 40% at the most. But if it's a must, if it's mission critical, like, people go over and beyond to get that task done or whatever it may be. So this is good stuff, man. Help people around you. Like, you can never turn your back. Definitely understand that. Definitely understand that. Number 6.
Oh man, be willing to delay gratification. So, like I was saying before, man, it's like, I feel like, it's a lot of people at certain points in my life that when I picked up things from them, I really just got it. And it was a defining moment in my life. And I think this was the guy who got me started in cryptocurrency, man. Guy I used to work with. He was the one, man. I think even actually, this dude retired. He don't work no more. So we've gotten up several times, and that was the one thing we talked about. He was a very conservative, still is a very conservative guy. Like, if you seen him, you wouldn't even know that he had, because he's just very, basic. He's very simple. Not in a bad way, but just very, like, not outlandish. He ain't wearing Gucci belts and Louis Vuitton shoes, no design or anything. Probably Walmart, really. So. Absolutely. One time, we was having lunch, and we were just talking about people in general, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so what my issue was with trading, once I kind of saw him do what he did, I'm like, man, I want that right now. Like, he got it, I can get it. But his story was different than mine. So, like, when he got into trading, he was into crypto back almost when it first started. So he was already in, and you know what I'm saying, he went through some growing pains, but he endured it. And then, during the next cycle, when it had like a mega cycle and it pushed up towards 20,000, he made a lot of money because he was in it back when it had the first boom cycle. He rode it all the way down. He just kept on believing in, delaying gratification, So he told me, he was like, man, he's like, what's wrong with the world and a lot of people is, he was like, everybody want instant gratification. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I used to be that same way. When I start making more money, all right, cool. I need that high rise downtown. I need to wear these Gucci's. I need all this designer stuff to show people, like, hey, I've arrived. I'm doing it. I'm doing something. I'm making money.
Absolutely.
I like to wear my money. So in my 20s, that's why I was saying, like, my definition of success was, okay, I'm making this money. I'm doing these different things. I need to have nice stuff because it made me feel good. It made me feel accomplished. Because I didn't have that entrepreneurial mindset yet. I didn't understand investments and what that lifestyle could bring. So yeah.
Let me ask you this. Delayed gratification. You said something there. I want to unpack it. You said, hey, Maurice, number one is you got to be true to yourself. And you gave the story of how he was trading way back then. And when you started, you like, you know what? I want it this way right now. My question to you is it healthy to compare yourself to individuals? Because we're taught not to compare ourselves to people. Is it healthy to compare yourself to people as you set your goals, or have an idea of where you want to go, or have a mindset of, I would trade places with that person if I had the opportunity now?
Yeah, I think you have to be careful. I think because, like, I never, like, for me, I didn't compare myself to him necessarily. Like, I didn't say, like, I want to be him. What I figured out was, and there's opportunities out there where you can make moves that put you in a situation where you don't have to work a 9 to 5. You can step away and you could be something else. So I start looking at the time value of money. I started being like, well, I can work all these hours for the rest of my life and purchase things, or I can take my money and have my money work for me, and I can eventually step away.
So that's
what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I wanted. I didn't want to be him per se, but I I wanted those intangibles that he had, and being patient. That's the one thing that I've finally gotten to the point with like understanding trading. Because like even he told me, like when he first told me to get into Bitcoin, man, Bitcoin was like $650. I bought my first Bitcoin at $650, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was trading.
Whoa, you can't give all the information up, man. That's that financial piece.
That's the financial piece. But I'm just saying, like, you know, basically going back to what I was saying, like he was just saying, like you got to delay gratification. Like you have to understand, you got to be patient. That's kind of what you're basically saying. So that's what I finally learned. Like with investing and trading in general, like you in just life, you have to be patient. Like you can't want overnight success. Like you can't, you know, just like somebody who make it to the NFL, like they've been probably putting it down since they was 5, 6 years old. You know, it wasn't just no overnight success. Like they just walked, they just went to the combine and just ran a 4.3 flat and got drafted and was this great player. Like it was a process. So you have to trust the process and you have to be patient. You have to, and that's kind of like, you know, we are like that bridge between the OGs, the elders, and this new generation. This new generation really wants instant gratification, because that's why everybody on social media is showing like, what am I doing right now, how I'm living, because they just focused on the right now. They ain't really focused on, you know, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, what am I going to be doing? They just going to change. They're going to change with the times.
Last one before you dive into 7. And a lot of us, when we're given or seeking advice, let me retract that statement. When we're helping individuals get to that next level, a lot of those individuals, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of them don't understand that financial piece. So that's why when we have that conversation, I want you to share more of those examples. Yeah. But specifically, my question is, a lot of people are in survival mode. When did you realize, okay, I built my foundation, now I could start building my house, or I could start building my level 2? When did you get out of survival mode and realize that you have made it?
Man, I wouldn't say I made it, man. I felt like
no. You have to realize when you made it, because now at this point you have a different mindset. Like you said, as you hit different milestones, when you're successful, you're like, okay, now I made it to this point. Your goals are gonna look so outlandish now. People gonna laugh at your goals. Because you're like, you know what, I want a house on the moon. Everybody like, man, that's not even possible. They're laughing at you. But at what point do you say, look, you know what, I could divvy money to my goals now. I don't necessarily have to use my money for survival now. Now I could take and invest in myself, no matter if I'm buying a camera for photography, no matter if go ahead.
I mean, I feel like, honestly, I would feel like recently, like within the last 2 years, I kind of felt like, all right, cool. Like my mindset really changed. Like, all right, this is what we're doing. And especially like, I think we talked about it like with COVID. I was like, all right, look, I got an opportunity now to really, you know, catapult and enter this. Because I started thinking about it. Like I always was like, man, by 40, I would love to be able to not have to work. Not saying that I won't have to work, like I won't work a corporate job, but I was like, about 40, I want the flexibility to be able to step away. And that kind of all
started. Hey, hold on. Say that louder for the people in the back. Tell them about that retirement piece again.
Oh man, you talk about the flexibility to that flexibility. Like you want that ability to say, look, no matter what happens, I'm good. I can continue on doing my entrepreneurial, my investment thing, or if I choose to, I can continue to work. Or you could do both, or you could just do one. You know, like stick with the entrepreneurial side. So really, like I would say, probably like the last 2 years, man. Especially, and then like when COVID hit, I think COVID really honestly changed my mind a lot, because I'm at home working a lot more, and it just changed. Like I'm not going uptown, like not downtown, like Charlotte, where I work at. I'm not paying for parking. Like I'm saving so much money. So it really started making me think about, okay, where is my money going? Where was it going? How much more of it am I saving? Okay, I'm saving it, but I don't need to just save it. I need to actually do something with it. So that's what kind of goes into that next piece of investing and doing things with your money. So it's really like helped recondition my mind as far as like being aware. Because like that's the worst thing is like I think what happened was turning point 2 was like with my photography money, like I don't live off it. So it's like I was making it and I was just spending it, and I'm like, all right, cool. So the next year I'm like, I looked at my spreadsheet, I'm like, what did I do? Like, where did all my money go? I'm like, I made X amount of extra money. that I should have been using to like invest. Like it was going into like travel, food, just random stuff that really didn't bring any value. So then I opened up what I did. I don't want to get into the financial piece. We'll talk about that. But I started changing the way I dealt with that piece as far as like what my money was trickulating to. And then COVID hit. Then, like I said, I just kind of cleaned things up. I started, you know what I'm saying, cleaning my mind up, cleaning different things up. And I was like, yo, this is where I'm trying to really be. Cause like before once my friend retired from the bank, I was like, dang, cause he might've been like 35, 36. And I was like, man, I want to be able to do that. So then I set a time for him. I was like, I want to be able to do that by 40, but I didn't really have a goal, like a plan to get there. I was like, oh, I'm just going to invest and I'm going to get there. But I didn't really look at the other things like what are your spending habits? What are you spending your money on? What are you doing? Are you delaying gratification, or do you need to show people like, hey, I'm taking a trip, I'm going here, I'm doing that? So it's like, once I figured that piece out, that was the last piece, then I really just locked me in. I was like, all right, cool. I know exactly what I need to do.
Yeah, that's a great call out. And to touch back on what basically you said something there. You said, Maurice, you got to delay gratification as much as you can. Not only that, you was able to look at a spreadsheet. For people who don't like spreadsheets or looking at, Excel or something of that nature, that's why when we get into that financial literacy piece, I use an app called Clarity. Now, that app itself, tell me what categories are all my money's going to, whatever category, no matter if it's utilities, no matter if it's reoccurring expenses, no matter if it's outing, entertainment, I actually have something there. But specifically, the piece that stood to me is when you're able to find out where your time, like you said, you save time, you don't have to go uptown. Now you can see where your money is going. You're able to invest in not only actual assets, but most importantly yourself, being able to have that transformational piece there. No matter if you're buying extra books, reading outside resources, you're able to take that money and invest in yourself. Not only that, you're able to, pretty soon, once you learn the basics, you're able to, say, well, you know what, I need to sit down with this type of banker, or I need to sit down and get this type of mentor. And then you're able to take your money to that next level. Like you said, that compound interest, our best friend. Good stuff, man. Good stuff there. Good stuff there, Zeke. Number 7.
Protect your energy. Number 7, protect your energy, man. That goes back to what we were talking about with emotional intelligence, man. Having a high IQ. Even if you don't have a high IQ, you have to be able to control your energy, man, because you got to be able to control yourself, because like you said, you're going to face different obstacles where like you might have roadblocks where like people close to you that you would think that are going to support you are not supporting you, or just different things are going to happen. Everything's not going to always go your way. So it's like how you deal with those situations and those circumstances will definitely, it's going to not only define you, but it could also change the outcome of your goals. So it's like you have to be able to protect your energy at all costs, and you got to stay focused, man, because I kind of feel like if you become like negative, or basically if you positive all the time, then positivity breeds positivity. So it's like, but if you negative, it's the same effect. It's like if you always negative, you always thinking negative, then that's what your actions are going to demonstrate, and it's going to take you away from what you're trying to do, which is probably something positive. Like you trying to start a business for yourself, and you believing in yourself, and you getting up with a positive mindset, like, hey, I'm gonna get this done. This is what I'm gonna do today. You're going to eventually get it done. If you wake up and you like, man, like I ain't got nowhere today. Like, you just ragging on yourself. Like it's going to be that same thing. Or if you,
let me ask you this.
What?
How does nutrition tie into protecting your energy?
You said nutrition?
Nutrition. Mm-hmm.
I honestly, man, I'm not the best person to ask. I love to eat. So, and I know my wife always getting on me. She like, yo, we need to do this. We need to do that. I need to cut back on like, just like I got poor eating habits. You know what I'm saying? So, I definitely think it has an impact on you, but I don't think necessarily that it's going to, cause like, look at me. Like I said, I love to eat. I don't have the best diet. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
okay, but you like to eat. You like to eat, but specifically, what do you cultivate your mind with? You know how to exercise your mind, like you said. No matter if you're reading a book.
Oh yeah,
you exercise your mind that way. Go ahead.
I thought you were talking about like no, for me,
just nutrition in general.
Just experience. Like I said, I've been there, man. Like one thing that I do, I call it self-check. Like I always self-check myself. So it's like, and that's one of my points too that we'll get to at the end. But like, it's just self-check, man. Like I have to analyze, like, what did I do right? Like, okay, how did I get here? What have I done over the years to become a successful photographer? What things have not worked? You got to just kind of understand the different components that play into it. So that helps me like say, okay, like I'm being negative, or, you know what I'm saying? I'm focusing too much on the negative instead of the positive. Let me change my mind, and maybe that will yield me more bookings. Because if I'm being negative and people are seeing, they're picking up a negative vibe, they might be like, man, he's talented, but he seems like he's difficult to deal with. I don't want to book him. Let me go book somebody else. So like situations like that, you know, made me think about my energy, man, and what I was projecting. So it's like, and people like we were talking about before, people pick up on those things. Like if it's not sincere, if it's not real, if it's bad energy, people are going to be like, I don't really want to deal with that. You know, who want to deal with somebody that's negative? So yeah, man, that's why I had to start protecting my energy in the sense of just putting out more positivity and like deflecting the negative stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like negative things are always gonna be there, but it's like you don't have to absorb those things. So just being able to like analyze what's going on and just understand those things, those principles has helped me a lot. Has helped me protect my energy, because I'm like, I don't want to be a negative person. You know what I'm saying? Even if something like I want certain things to be going a certain way, they're not. I choose to like not react to them in a negative way, but just kind of, if it's negative, I basically ignore it. Like I don't absorb it. I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to deflect that and just focus on the good things that I have going on with this situation or in life. And so.
No, that's a good call out. Great point, man. You know, your habits identify and reinforce your reality. So great point there. Number 8.
Number 8 is be willing to go the extra mile. So, you know, be willing to do what the next person isn't willing to do. In any aspect. It could be just, you know, like we were talking about, like reading, you know, helping other people. It kind of ties into all of them. That's kind of interesting because I'm thinking about it now, because all the goals kind of tie into each other in some fashion. But yeah, man, you got to just be willing to go the extra mile. You got to be willing to do something that somebody ain't. Like my life, you know, would we be here right now, or would you be having this conversation with me if I still was in Youngstown? I'm not saying that it's like Youngstown is that, but I'm just saying, like, we wouldn't be talking about investments, you know, probably, you know, Bitcoin and different things like that had I not moved and met some of the people that I've met that influenced my life and changed my life. So, you know, that was willing to go the extra mile. I was willing to be like, let me get us a try. You know what I'm saying? Let me try it out. You know what I'm saying? I could have said, okay, this ain't working for me. I'm moving back to here. I'm moving back to there. But I was willing to go the extra mile and say, okay, this is something I really want to do. I really want to change. I want to change right now. I want to really get this thing started right now. So I was willing to go the extra mile, which meant relocating, you know, as soon as possible, as soon as I graduated.
Absolutely. So, good call out. I'll say this. Like you said, Youngstown's not a bad place. The whole purpose of this and actually doing this platform is to bring value or show individuals back in the hometowns, specifically what we have going on. It's not so much bragging, it's just so much showing, hey, this is motivation. Anybody can make it. So that's the whole purpose of the hometown edition. And that's why I started first. When you said going the extra mile, I thought about value. The first thing I thought about was value. Let me ask you this. You said something earlier, Maurice. It's intense down here in the area. It's a lot of people, and it's competitive in the market. How are you able to differentiate your experience when it comes to value and price point when it comes to photography? What type of value? What differentiates you from your opponent?
I mean, really, man, honestly, I pride myself on it. But like the one, so let me get this. So when I first got into photography, right, I was like 29 years old. So not being from Charlotte, not having like a huge Instagram following for my photography page, I was just starting out. It was difficult because I'm competing against kids who just graduated high school. So they know everybody. Everybody knows them. So it's like, you know, I need a model, or she would be great. I know her. We got a relationship already. So it's like, cool, let's take some pictures. So basically, like my path was a little bit more difficult because like I had to like really establish myself, and people didn't know who I was. So it was a fight, man. People didn't really
got to go the extra mile. I get it.
People didn't want to deal with me until, like, the younger generation. People didn't want to really deal with me until they started seeing like, okay, like he's cool. I don't really know who he is, but everybody's kind of like shooting with this guy. The buzz is starting to build around him, so he must be good. So then that was like one checkbox. But as far as like the things that I've experienced, like, because like I've traveled, like I said, I was into like designer things and certain things. I knew what I wanted my look to be as far as like for my, for my style of photography. So I feel like in photography, everybody has their own styles as far as like, fashion, beauty. Some people do wedding, family photography. So I kind of knew what I wanted to shoot. So I started shooting. Like when I first started, I wasn't the greatest at certain things, but I knew where I wanted to get to. Just like we were talking about as far as careers and things like that. So once I figured out where I wanted to get to, I just put my label on it, my stamp on it. So my stuff looks like my stuff because it's my experiences. Like what's beautiful to me, like might not be beautiful to you or somebody else, but it's true to me. So being true to like my art form and incorporating what I think is beautiful in my art form is what separates me from somebody else. And then as far as my price point, I just try to base it off of like value, like we were talking about earlier. Like what is the work effort to get this project done? As far as me, talking to you, getting your ideas. It might be me helping you develop like your actual vision for the shoot, doing the shoot, editing the pictures, getting them back to you. What, that total package of time, what is that worth to me? As far as like, I want to feel like at the end of a project that we both got what we wanted. You got great pictures and I was paid just the right amount or, justly based off of the services that I provided. And sometimes, man, like you got to reevaluate things out. Cause when I first got in the game, I was charging much less because I understood like, okay, I'm building a portfolio. I got to start down here. I might have to give some things away for free. You just got to grind, you got to hustle. So then once I established
going extra mile, like, I love it.
Yeah. Once I established myself, I'm like, all right, cool. People know who I am. They know the work is worth it. It's valuable. It means something. There's a brand attached to it. Now I can kind of charge this. So like every couple of years I reevaluate that. I just actually kind of changed my, my pricing format and like my prices. So it's like, you got to kind of just reevaluate it, and look at the market and see what people are willing to pay for things. So that's kind of how I determine that.
Yeah, great point. Great examples as well. Great examples. Number 9.
Number 9 is leveraging your network. And that's something that I really just started doing recently, honestly. So like I wasn't doing a good job of it. Like I was saying before, I'm kind of stick to photography. Like I've met so many different people throughout the years, everybody's doing different things. Like, several business owners, several people who are like out there who are socialites, who have great networks of people.
I love it.
Yeah, socialites, man. Like they, having monthly, they call it monthly mingles and things like that, where it's like a ton of hundreds of people are coming out. So they have a huge network, but I think I kind of got complacent in the sense that it was like, all right, cool. I'm making money. I'm doing my thing. People are discovering me through word of mouth or just through Instagram. So that's cool. Instead of really tapping into my networks, being like, hey man, this is what I have going. Even though I'm doing my thing by myself, I would like to partner up with you in some way so that I can grow my network as well. Like, tap into your network and you can get something out of it as well, like whether it's services or things of that nature. And I just wasn't thinking like that because like I said, I got to a point where it was like, I'm cool, I'm consistently booked. Why? But, it changed for me because then I was like, all right, I want to target, this is my target market. I want to start targeting more entrepreneurs, business owners. That's like what I want to target more so now. And I need to revamp my portfolio. So it's like, I can use that person network because that person is that type of individual. And like we were talking about before, you surround yourself with great people or people who are doing things. So it's like, that's what I need to align myself with. So it's like being able to leverage your network for different things. And they leverage you too. Like I provide photography services. So if they're a business owner, they're going to need pictures for marketing and things like that. So it's like one hand feed, washes the other. So it's like, so, being able to leverage your network, like I said, even if it's just for like advice, if you have questions, being able to use somebody in your network who is knowledgeable on that subject, it's great being able to do, and like I said, most of my network is genuine people, like people that I can hit up. They know, like, I'm doing something for somebody. Like when I first got into the game, quick story, man, I used to go on Eventbrite, and I don't even know if people, man, this is free game basically. So I used to go on Eventbrite, and that's, you know what Eventbrite is?
Yeah, yeah. It's the
Yeah, I
booking
used to go
app
on
you use
I used to
for
go on
events.
Eventbrite. Yep, I used to go on Eventbrite, man. I would go and I would look at upcoming events in Charlotte. And I am on Eventbrite, usually like their contact information on is on there, whether it's email or cell phone. So I would
Mm-hmm.
send them an email. Hey, I'm Isaiah from Awesome Photography. I understand you have an event coming up. I would like to offer my services to you free of charge. If you need a photographer, let me know and we can discuss that. So I would send out a ton of emails. Some people would bite, people would be like, we got somebody, or some people would be like, cool. So it's one guy. So this one situation I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, all right, I'm gonna give you I'll give you a shot. I got an all day event. I got a gala that night. We doing things throughout the day. If you could come through, like that would be dope. So I'm like, all right, cool. Because I'm back in my mind, I'm like, I know I'm a good photographer. So if I could just show him what I
Mm-hmm.
can do, I could probably land his business. And that's exactly what happened. I shot the gala, everything for free. You know what I'm saying? So then
Let
I
me
ended up shooting the next 3 years. I ended up shooting because like he was like, man, we had a photographer, but your work is much better. Is what we need. We want to go forward with you. So I ended up shooting his galas and different events. You know what I'm saying? And then things kind of slowed down, but he hit me up. He was like, yo, I'm getting engaged. He's like,
mm-hmm.
I want you to be I want you to be the photographer. What's the price? Just let me know. We got everything situated. That's gonna be we're gonna do that in September. And then he was like,
Mm-hmm.
you my guy for the wedding. But it's just and that
Nice.
relationship started in I think it was 2016. I think it was 2016.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember, bro. I think it was 2016. But a relationship that started 4 years ago, and I haven't even. I haven't even hit this man up. And this man has his own. He has his own org, and that like, I don't want to drop too much information, but um, he's well connected to the point that he's going to be in the 30 for 30 that's coming up. He just was telling me about this the other day on ESPN. So, and he was like, "Yeah, I want you to be involved with that. Like, they're going to be filming me, but at the same point in time, I'm going to need a photographer to like market this stuff. So it's like you never know what people in your network have going on. And if me and him had never reconnected about his engagement stuff, like." We wouldn't have had that conversation about about me being his wedding photographer when they get married, about the 30 for 30 special that's coming up. I mean, I don't know. Me and him might talk more about that
It's
piece. Like I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I'm just saying in general, like
great.
it's just you just never know, man. So you have to be able to like leverage your network, stay connected in your network, and like people will see stuff like that and they'll either like, oh, okay, he's shooting for this guy who's about to be on 30 for 30. That's a big deal. Like I could, potentially use that for like self promotion. So people just gravitate towards stuff like that. Like
Let me ask you this.
so I want to be a part of that.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. Leveraging your network kind of ties into, to me, a little bit helping those individuals around you, which was point number 5.
Yep.
So let me ask you this. At what point in your relationship are you able to say, you know what, this here is a business relationship and I'm going to keep this person in my network, or this person, I could see myself being around them on a social tip. And the only reason why I asked is because what's the saying? If you're around 9 broke people, you're going to be the 10th broke person. How are you able to differentiate who I should keep in as a business contact or someone I should keep as a social contact? And I think you
I
touched on
mean,
it a bit.
you know what, man? Honestly, I don't even think about it from that perspective. Like, I think about it
Really?
from no, I don't. I think about it from a perspective like I kind of let things happen organically. So it's like if we have a relationship and it's like I guess certain times people will define that for you. Like I don't define it myself. Like somebody might be like, "Hey, Isaiah's a really good photographer. He's our photographer," and that's all it is. When and they keep it that way. Like I don't pursue it too much. I kind of like let it come as it may, I guess. So I let the client kind of define that. It might be like, this person is cool. I wouldn't mind getting up with them, you know what I'm saying, going out for a drink, and then it becomes more of a social thing. But I never really pursue it and be like, hey, man, let's go.
So you kind of let it play off happens
I kind of let
organically,
them.
play off of them.
Yeah, some people are just like, hey, it's just business. Business is business. Like,
Yep.
it might be a one-time thing, but I kind of feel like when you're doing multiple things, like for that, like, so say for instance, for the person that I was just talking about, like me and him have like literally got up for drinks and just sat down and kind of talked. He was trying to grow his social media platform. He's like, man, I see you're doing a good job at that. I just kind of wanted to pick your brain. We sat down, we talked about different things. And he was just like, man, I don't even do a good job of it myself. Like I'm so busy with running my organization that, at the time his girl was just like, yo, you need to really sit down and talk to Isaiah because he can give you some game. But
Yeah.
Sometimes, man, I mean, I just kind of let it happen organic. Like for me, I don't really pick and choose those relationships, what they're going to be. I just kind of let them happen. Like everybody is different. Cause like I said, some people might just be, you might just be a photographer for now, and then it's nothing else. And
Nah,
if that's how you met, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like, it is what it is. But
it's
then
gonna keep it
obviously
business.
I got people that are like my friends who hired me too. So it's like, that's already established.
And,
But as far
and
as
that's the piece I wanted to touch on. And here's the piece. Here's the reason why I asked, because I was talking to Kitwan, and knowing who you are, like you said, knowing your true self, and understanding yourself, and as you surround people around you, like you said back in number 3, your network is your net worth. So if I
Mhm.
have an individual myself who, let's just say he invite me to an event, I know he want me to come to an event, but it's not an environment that I know is not good for me. How are you able to support that person from a business standpoint and from a social standpoint? And he gave the example and said, you know what, I'll shoot a text, or not only will I shoot a text, I'll shoot an email, or I'll send a card, or one of those types of gestures. And that's the reason why I asked you that point. Where do you draw the line for yourself?
I mean, like, I think it really depends on the relationship, man. If somebody, I mean, and I watched that interview, so I saw it, but I'm kind of different. So it's like, it's certain things.
Okay.
Yeah, it's certain things that like if I'm cool with somebody and they generally invite me somewhere, then I'll probably, as long as I can really make it, then I'm going. If I can't make it because I have like something going on with the fam, then I'm not. But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Keetwan really ain't Keetwan ain't no drinker and things like that. So he might be like, man, I don't really want to be in that environment. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's the only way. Like if it's an unsafe
Exactly.
environment, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't gonna go. Like if I know this is gonna be wild and it's like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, potential that something gonna buck off, then I might be like, eh. But for the most part, like 9 times out of 10, like I'll probably go. I'll probably show my face. Because sometimes, man, for that relationship, like I said, seeing is kind of believing. So I know
Yeah.
I'm like that too. You know what I'm saying? I get on like my sister
Okay.
about that.
It
Like
makes
I'm like,
sense
yo,
now.
yeah, I'd be like, yo, if that's your homegirl, if that's your friend, like, they should
Yeah,
have
you're
kept
gonna
it,
support them. Yeah.
like, even if it's just for a hot second. But it's no right or wrong. Everybody's
No,
different.
no,
So
it makes sense. And here's the reason why I say it makes sense. And for me, and going back to Kitwan's example and yourself, it makes sense. You let them kind of define it for you, and then based on your values and your norms and your beliefs, then you kind of say, you know what, I'll put him in this kind of bracket, different
mhm.
things like this. So that's a great call out. Great call out. Let it happen organically, and then you draw the line based on who you are, like you said, knowing
Yeah.
yourself. Okay, last point.
Man, be your biggest fan and be your biggest critic. That was something I kind of thought about. Like I said, like it kind of goes back to being able to self-analyze. Like you can't just be like, I'm doing great, I'm doing this, like I'm doing that, and not really look at the areas that you can improve on. Like you have to be able to
Yeah.
see the flaws in yourself. Like it's better. I just feel. I mean, I don't mind. Like I'm pretty much an open book. So it's like if people that are close to me that I know have my best interests are telling me something like, "Yo, bro, you need to chill. You need to do this. You need to do that." Then
Mm-hmm.
at first sometimes I might be like, "Nah, I'm good. Like I know what I'm doing." Da da da. But I'm always gonna like sit back and be like, "All right, cool. Let me try to see it from their angle too. Like,
Yeah.
is it something that I'm doing that's like detrimental to them? Is it something
Yeah.
that I can be improving upon?" So I'll take that criticism to that feedback, but I'll also do it to myself. Like, is there an area that I can improve upon? Like, is it something that I'm not doing that I should be doing? I don't really just try to focus on just the positive, because obviously, like if you made it to a certain destination, like, okay, that's working. Like I must be doing something right. So that's cool. But like, where can I improve? So you have to be able to be, not only your biggest fan, but you have to also be your biggest critic, because if you're not,
Mm-hmm.
somebody else gonna be, and it depends on the type of person that you are. Like some people can't take criticism, that, some
Mm-hmm.
people just, they can't take it, man. Like they just they need somebody to always like lift them, to prompt them up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
motivate them. Yeah, absolutely. Let me
yeah,
ask you this.
but
You said something earlier as it relates to I think is surrounding yourself or defining yourself with success. Man, kind of just slipped my mind because you, man, you're a winded person, man. You you speak a lot. But I want to touch on something. It slipped my mind. Go ahead, man. It'll come to me. And when it comes to me, I ask this question because I know,
Yeah.
okay, it came to me. Now, you said something earlier, and you were saying, hey, Maurice, every so often I reevaluate my success or how I got there. I guess the better question is, what systems or how do you develop your systems for yourself, and how do you, when you get to that goal or that destination, as you just stated, how are you able to understand if it worked or not? What do you compare that to?
I mean, really, like if it's business, then I'm always looking at like numbers, like how did I do this year versus last year as far as numbers, like yeah. So like my biggest thing now has been time, man, because I got a family, so I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
I want to be able to. So say for instance, if I shot last year, I shot 1,000 clients, and I charged average $200, and that's that equates out to $20,000 or something like that. I'm not even doing math right now. It might even be more than that. I'm tripping, but I'm just throwing like a hypothetical number out there.
Yeah, we're gonna dive into the real examples on our financial literacy piece. Let's keep it high level for me, man.
Yeah, I'm just throwing out numbers. So say for instance, like actually I would have been $200. So let's say 100 customers, $200. So that's 20,000. So then like this year I'm like, okay, cool. I did 50 clients, but I charged the average of $400. To me, you know what I'm saying? That's more success. I'm more successful in year 2 than I am in year 1 because I made the same amount in less time. And that extra time that I had gave me time to do other things, spend time with my family, devote time to like reading or some of my other interests. So that's kind of like that's like a tool. Like I always look at numbers, you know what I'm saying? Because numbers like drop everything. So if you really understand the numbers, then that can kind of forecast like where you need to be, where you're not doing as well. So say for instance, if I shot the same amount of clients each year, but I made less money this year. Okay, why are clients booking? So because I might have added a cheaper shoot to my package. Okay, clients are more. They're more. They'll probably book this shoot because it's cheaper. So it's like, all right, cool. So then I have to evaluate. I'm saying, so do I need to remove that, package, or like what do I need to do? Because I kind of feel like, okay, I put that package out there. Now people are still booking me at the same rate. It's just I have a cheaper package, so they're going with that. So they like me, and it seems like they're willing to pay. Yeah, they're willing to pay what I was charging a year prior. So I just kind of evaluate things based off of numbers and kind of make decisions based off of that data. So that's what I try to do a lot. I try to look at everything that I'm doing, and I always try to look at the raw numbers because at the end of the day, that's like the driving force. That's the most important thing. You make your decisions based off of that. So
my boy knocking on the door. Farrell is knocking on the door. He like, Dad, what's up? Yeah. But this is a great interview. Two more things before we go. Okay. The first thing is, who do you take advice from right now?
My wife. Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, man, she's the closest to me as far as day to day. Like she sees what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? The work that I'm putting in.
She know you.
Hours. Yeah, she sees.
She know you and where you trying to go.
Yeah, and it affects her too. It affects her and my son. So it's like, yo, she told me like, yo, you need to chill. You're going too hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
You need to spend more time with your family. You need to do this. You need to do that. That's like the person that, because like my moves impact her the most. But I listen to everybody. Like as far as like people who are close to me, it depends on the topic. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's
okay. I just say listen to everybody. I don't believe that one, man. I'm gonna push back on that.
No. It depends on the topic. Like if it's just general, like if it's just like general, we talking, then like I'm listening to everybody's opinion. Like if it's in a group setting and we talking about music or finance.
Whoa. Opinion versus advice. That's different, man.
That's true. We talking about advice.
Come on now, Zeke. Don't sugarcoat it now, man.
She's the I take advice from her. I take advice. I mean, I do. I kind of look at it. It depends. Like as far as like general, I could take general advice too. Like we talking about like in the general. That's what I kind of meant though. in a general sense.
Life decisions.
Like,
It's important for my livelihood.
man,
I'm talking about life decisions. Who you take those? Where you get that advice from?
Yeah, that'd be definitely like, you know, my siblings, my mom, my wife.
Got it. Here we
You know
go.
what I'm saying? Yeah, fam
Here we
for
go. Here
sure.
we
And then,
go.
like I said, I
Okay.
mean, close friends will like people, basically people who like really, really know me. You know what I'm
Got
saying?
it.
It could be like, Zeke, yo, you tripping. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah.
you tripping,
Yeah.
man. You
No, it makes
think about it
sense.
like this, then yeah, for sure. I thought we was,
Okay.
yeah, I was going along with the long-winded answer. But yeah, if it's like critical advice, then yeah, like my family and close friends, you know, I'm going to
Yeah.
listen to what they have to say. I would just say, like, if it's general discussion and we just
Yeah.
sitting around, like if it's like 5 guys or whatever the ratio is, and we just sitting around, somebody might be like, oh, you need to check this out. They're giving me advice, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to check it out, but I ain't going to take it, you know what I'm saying, to heart. But I'm going to be like, all right, cool. Let me go research that. Let me go see, you know, what the advice that they gave me, if it was valid or not. But yeah, like mission critical
Absolutely.
life decisions, yeah. You got to, you know, wife first.
Gotta bring the loved ones in. Yeah, for that,
Yeah,
because it's gonna affect everyone, like you said.
yeah,
Last thing, this conversation, man. This. I'm pretty sure it's gonna bring value to anyone, any other subscribers or anyone actually listening. If they want to reach out to you and say, you know what, they may not want to comment on this video. What avenues are you open to individuals reaching out to you? What social media platforms? You want to hit your LinkedIn? Do you want to contact you via your website? You know, what avenues do you want individuals to reach you?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's seeing this, you know, and they don't know me and they want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me on my Instagram or on my website, which is iSunPhotography.com and iSunPhotography on Instagram. Definitely, if it's somebody who knows me, my first and last name is Isaiah Anderson. They can reach out to me on Facebook and say, hey, you know, I caught the interview. I have some questions for you. Definitely, feel free to reach out to me. I'm definitely open, to answering any questions. Any questions that somebody may have, or, you know, if they want to follow through on anything that we've discussed, I'm definitely open to that as well.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So Instagram, the website, Facebook information, I would definitely get that information into the description here, especially if you have any questions, any concerns, or any just comments that you want to discuss discreetly with him. He's definitely open, you know, to those discussions. Overall, Zeke, man, we appreciate you sharing today. We really appreciate you sharing your experiences.
Yeah, man, I think this is dope, man. Like I said before, when I found out about it, Rail put the bug out. Things like, man, you got to go on. So I was like, yeah, for sure, man. That's, reach the home. That's fam. So
appreciate it.
I love doing stuff like this, man. Like just sitting down, really just, talking about where we come from, what we've been through, the growth, and, if somebody can be inspired by this, or, just retain anything that can help them on their journey, man. Because we didn't, like I said before, we didn't really have these vehicles, man, like these social media platforms to be able to reach, connect to so many people and inspire people. Back when we was coming up, man, we were that bridge, man. Like when this stuff was first coming about, you remember Facebook when it first started, like the intent, of what it started as, just a way to connect people in college versus what it is now is totally different. Maybe like 15 years later, I think Facebook came around like 2004, 2005, something like that. It was like 2005, I think.
It came out, 2004, 2005, and then it became to my university because I went to an HBCU in 2007. And you know, you had to use your email, you had to use your college email address to even be a part of it. So I remember that window and that time frame. So great call outs here. Yeah, great call outs. We will have Isaiah back, as I call him Zeke. We will have him back for a segment around financial literacy. So you guys, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification button so you can get that alert for his this upcoming video here. Outside of that, Zeke, love you, man. You stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll be reaching out to you soon.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me.
No problem.
All right.
Later.